Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Reviews. I hope you're having a wonderful day. My latest documentary review for you guys here now is called Netflix versus the World, and this is directed by Sean Catherine, and this is apparently based on a novel that I've never read, and I probably want to seek this novel out. And this is about how Netflix came to become global dominance. Probably the more appropriate title of this documentary should be called Netflix versus Blockbuster, because a good chunk of this film is how Netflix took on Blockbuster and eventually won out against Blockbuster. Basically, this is a story of just going your way through, seeing what wins, seeing what doesn't, and how some things turn out to be good by accident. Through animation, through archival footage, through past and present employees, and a bunch of other talking heads, we come to learn how Netflix became so dominant. And basically this all started with a car ride between two people, Mark Randolph, who's no longer with Netflix because he hasn't been with Netflix for the past so many years, and Reed Hastings, because Reed Hastings is not interviewed because he's worth $4 billion, and why would Reed Hastings sit down and talk about Netflix here? Because of course Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph shared a 1-hour commute to Silicon Valley. They had numerous ideas to come up. Okay, what would be our business model here? Because they were part of a business that was getting sold out to another company, and they were being let go, but they were being let go in that way of, we want you to stay on for 6 or so months, and then you'll have some time to make some money and then skedaddle. Originally, they thought to themselves, okay, what could work here, what couldn't? They came to realize, oh yeah, selling discs in the mail could easily work, because they had a compact disc. He mailed it to his friend, and it worked, no cracks. Voila, we have our business plan. And there are several amazing, amusing anecdotes when it comes to this film here. In fact, they started out in a business room of a hotel lobby, and how they needed multiple, computers that day when they were launching their startup plan. Basically, they sold 100 discs through the mail, and they were like, hooray, we got 100 discs. We were so lucky. Yes, we had to get influencers to be aware of our product, and how in the early 80s, no one had really heard of the internet. Maybe a handful of people have heard of the internet. By the time the mid 80s were rolling along, a little bit more people were hearing about the internet. Mid to late 90s, everyone began hearing of the internet. Amazon would become a global phenomenon that is today. One of the things we come to learn about this film here is basically Blockbuster sold family-friendly films. Now, of course, or you might have had the local mom and pop stores. How video stores existed sort of in the late 70s, came into prominence in the 80s and 90s, and completely disappeared by the early 2000s. Granted, I spent my formative youth in a video store looking at the back of each cover jacket and seeing all the new releases. My family frequented one local video store. We didn't have a Blockbuster till later on, and there was also a Hollywood Video down the road from where we lived, and I never frequented that store at all. Mom and pop stores sort of had to survive on Playboy, or the softcore or hardcore stuff, which I bet some people would just love to see that stuff again today. How, Netflix in the early on struggled to survive as a company. They initially offered themselves to Blockbuster at the very low estimated cost of $50 million. Obviously, Blockbuster scoffed at that idea. And then when they came to realize, oh yeah, their DVD My Mail service was completely revolutionizing the industry, they were like, oh, we all have these brick and mortar stores that we can return them to the physical store here. Now, obviously, what doomed sort of Blockbuster is just a series of bad management decisions, particularly when Carl Icahn, who's basically a corporate raider, invests in companies, do various things to that company, and how he sort of reneged on a promise to one of the local board members' payment. They happened to have a CEO in another company that I forget that he wanted to buy Circuit City. Do you all remember Circuit City, folks? Because that was another store that I remember going into, one of the most in the 90s as well. There's one amusing anecdote in which they tried to say to themselves, okay, let's give everyone the Bill Clinton deposition hearing out on DVD here. Of course, seriously, they didn't label it the Bill Clinton deposition tape. They just sent out a blank disc, and somehow it got inadvertently mixed with a Chinese porno title. Like, yes, whoops, our mistake here, folks. And that sort of separated them out from the local other video chains. Most companies would not apologize. Netflix did. What Blockbuster also did, but it was way too late, is they got rid of late fees. Do you remember late fees here, folks? Obviously, my local mom and pop store didn't necessarily have a late fee thing, but what they did have was a rewind fee, in which if you didn't rewind the video to the beginning, that you would get a surcharge. See, folks, when I say Quickster was a really dumb idea to begin with. I think this film was an hour and 45 minutes. I think for the first hour 20, I think this is a relatively interesting documentary. But when it gets to the last 20 minutes, it feels like a chore to watch because it goes into streaming material and how basically everyone is like, yes, we now want to become what Netflix is, but of course Netflix has the head start and everything. Like, again, Amazon is thinking about buying AMC. Amazon is the only rival to Netflix. And everybody wants their own streaming service, possibly to screw out Netflix because then they can get a leg on one up on Netflix. So there are just way too many talking heads for me to count. It's like, okay, yeah, you worked for this amount of time. And also it goes into a lot of Silicon Valley stuff about how, yes, the entrepreneurs really want to do good on their promise to make some money, but then the corporate suits take over and know how effectively run a company, having to lay off people. That always sucks, folks, to know you're being laid off. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about Netflix versus the world, this is a very thrilling, interesting look at the world of startup and the streaming service at large. So I'm going to give this a matinee rating. Clearly seek this out if you want to watch it. So folks, Netflix versus the world. Have you seen this? What do you think? Please put everything in the comment box below here, folks. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, or interest off of knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.